You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The headline of this thing, and there's a lot of talk out there about O-line, D-line as it relates to Utah's offensive line and Texas Tech's defensive line. I mean, aren't we – may the game be decided with the inverse of that? I mean, like nobody's really – I mean, maybe people like us are, and we're certainly going to do that now. But, I mean, I think that the opposite of that really – I mean, how is Texas Tech's offensive line, versus what Utah has up front? And there's been – one of Utah's best defensive linemen hasn't played neither one of the first two games. Don't know if he will play on Saturday or not. We'll find out with these injury reports as they come out this week. And as we get closer, because I think there's like I think the whole format was like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then 90 minutes before the game. So there's really no hiding from that. And the league will be the one that sends that out. And then at the end of the day, is this not – can you run it when you want to versus can they throw it when they want to?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we in the simplest terms, maybe that's what's it. Because I can sit here and tell you, hey, man, it's going to come down to which quarterback plays the best. I do think the altitude thing that I've heard people talk about, you pointed this out, that is a non-factor. That there's no I mean, I did the Laramie, Wyoming thing, and you pointed it out that there's like 1,000 feet difference or something between Lubbock and Salt Lake. But yeah, I don't. The altitude thing is a non-factor. Maybe the 10 a.m. local time kick is a non-factor.
Wait, let's talk body clock. Almost the whole week's gotten by me without talking body clock.
Exactly. Yeah. So those have been talked about in some cases, but I just think that but I do think that what you've got going up front on offense versus what they've got going on defense is because they're going to blitz you, they're going to zero pressure you, they're going to do some different things at different times to try to get in your business and confuse Baron Morton. And so a lot's on his shoulders in this game. This is a really good defensive coordinator. And you're going to see stuff that you haven't seen yet this year, or maybe that he hasn't seen much in his career yet. But I mean, this is why you study, and this is why you prepare all week to be prepared for some of these things. And that's also why I'm glad, for as much as Oregon State didn't do or didn't show you or didn't test you in some ways, their third down defense was very good. And I think there was a healthy respect from the Texas Tech coaching staff for what Oregon State does on third downs, because they came into last week, I think only allowing like 3 of 21. And it's because they have this very unique third down scheme where they show you a lot, maybe blitz heavy or doing some different things. And so I think that was good to kind of have that under your belt just for your offensive line and Barron, if anything. But are we talking enough about? We have mentioned that your kicking situation is interesting because who's going to take them? Neither guy has really flinched. I think that they will continue into this week with allowing both guys to participate. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I think until somebody flinches, this is how they're going to continue to roll. Utah's kicker, though, however, freshman kicker, he was 1 of 4 last Saturday, I should say. In a close game, which this very well could be, worth pointing that out.
First, today's episode brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. We all make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in. And with football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. You're going to love how easy and simple it is to use. And of course, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Download the Prize Picks app today and use our code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. With Prize Picks, run your game.
One of four kicking. Okay, so like not hitting a baseball, that's not that bad, but kicking 25%, you're saying?
I'm saying he was
interesting.
Yeah, one was blocked, two were missed.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was 1 of 4. So
I'd be a little worried about that if that was our guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's in the 40s, but the games in the conference last year was like 42, 44% were one-score games, 8 points or fewer. Well, in those kinds of games, so close to half of them, you need the points when you got them in your back pocket. And, that's what made that game so close against Wyoming last week going overtime, because they couldn't finish drives. They were having to settle for field goals, and they were missing them. So Wyoming hung around a little bit. So anyway, I point that out.
Yeah, I think worth pointing out, and I'm really probably trying to make myself feel a little bit better about us heading back into Big 12 play again, doing this delicate dance of a rotating cast of legs. I only like to see that typically in Vegas. But as far as field goal kicking is concerned, last year you survived it. I think eventually you did have a little bit of separation. I think we saw in some clutch moments a decision made, and be curious to see how long that plays out here this season. But I guess you're kind of right. It's kind of difficult to separate something when there hasn't been somebody flinch yet, or it's just kind of a nerve-wracking spot to be in for a fan.
I'm with you. I mean, because these now, I don't want to say that the next kick or one of these kicks could mean everything, but it could.
Yeah, well, it could. Let's say it.
I mean, it could. I mean,
no pressure.
If you attempt one and it doesn't go in and you lose, by 2, or you could have sent it to overtime and you can, or whatever the scenario is, as you look back on it and you look at it, man, that's the reality here. And it's not fair to like point at that. That's just what people do, because there's so many other things that got you to that point, or it could have been better, or whatever. But or maybe you throw somebody out there and they bang one in, and you're like, hell yeah, man. Now we can cross that off the list. We've had somebody that's won a game or made a meaningful kick, and you can put that in your back pocket and go, he's been in the fire, and he lived to tell about it. So there's that side of it too. But yeah, it's both special team coaches probably have to be going, okay, all right, not real sure what we're going to get here. So, but I like my situation better than theirs. How about that?
Made me feel a little bit better hearing about that. So thank you for bringing that up. And when we're talking about the home environment or a home advantage, it did get my wheels to turn in a little bit on maybe the defensive side of things being less affected by that type of stuff. But like your quarterback or your communication among quarterback and others, or your kicker, obviously guys that can get going on that stadium pulse and they're rattled and all of a sudden the game is gone.
And I'll say this: if this guy has to attempt 4 field goals again, I got to tell you, I'd like your chances in a game like that.
I think things are going well.
Yeah, I'd like your chances, because one, it's a win just because you're forcing them to attempt it. And then, if he goes 4 for 4, great. But if you miss any of those, but the fact that you're forcing some attempts instead of allowing touchdowns, I think is the point there. So.
And we're fine too with a comfortable victory by Texas Tech, where it's only extra points involved for this rotating cast of legs. So that's an option. Would love for them to choose that as well coming up on Saturday. Chris, before we wrap up today's episode, I wanted to kick this to you that was thrown our way from a Matador mobster, and actually had this come in a couple of different ways, talking about the player defensively for Texas Tech most critical, essentially to shutting down or containing all the things we've been describing this week. Rhett was one that texted it in. He offered up John Curry as his choice. What do you think about that selection, or what name might come to mind for you?